I'm Cynthia Scott.
I'm Rebecca Scott.
And I'm Lisa Scott.
Our mother, Laura Denver Stith, is the judge on the Supreme Court of Missouri.
But even if your mother isn't a judge, we all share some things about the courts.
The courts belong to the people. That includes all of us and all of you. Citizens like us are responsible for seeing to it that disputes are decided fairly and justly in our courts. So it is important to know all about our courts.
Missouri has 3 separate but equal branches of government. First, the legislative branch, or General Assembly. It represents you when it makes the laws and approves spending.
Second, the executive branch. It executes or carries out the laws. The governor heads the executive branch, but state agencies like the Highway Patrol and Conservation Department are part of the executive branch too.
Third, the judicial branch. It applies the laws. In other words, the courts settle disputes among people and determine fairly and justly the guilt or innocence of a person accused of a crime.
People who have a disagreement that they cannot settle themselves can come to the courts for help.
Anyone who comes to the court is guaranteed a fair trial under the Constitution and laws.
The courts are open to all people, young and old, rich and poor, male and female, minorities, and all citizens of the state. The people who come to the court are called parties. Parties can include, for example,
defendants, those people accused of committing a crime.
Parents involved in divorces or child custody disputes.
Juveniles, that is, kids, who have been neglected or abused, or who have committed offenses that would be crimes if committed by an adult, like stealing or using illegal drugs.
Drivers who have had car accidents.
Business owners and consumers arguing over money or services.
And many more.
In a trial, the court decides who wins or loses a case based on the law, not on what or who is popular. How do the courts decide?
Lawyers go to school to learn the law. Then they represent, or help, a party or person to prove his or her side.
Witnesses swear or promise to tell the truth about what they know of a case. They testify or tell about what they heard or saw. For example, a police officer may testify about how he or she found certain evidence.
A court reporter takes down everything that is said during the trial.
Jurors are citizens just like us,
but older,
who listen to all the parties, witnesses, lawyers, and judge to decide the case.
I'm 18 and I can vote, but I can't be on the jury yet because...
In Missouri, jurors must be at least 21 years old.
The judge makes sure the trial is fair. The judge tells the jury what the law is. When there is no jury, the judge decides the case.
If a person does not agree with the decision and thinks a mistake was made, he or she has the right to appeal to a higher court.
The next higher court above the trial court is the Court of Appeals. Next, the state's highest court is the Supreme Court, where our mom is a judge. She's the lady near the middle.
Only the most important cases, such as cases involving taxes and cases where the death penalty is given, go to the Supreme Court.
The Court of Appeals and Supreme Court do not just redo the trial. Instead, the Court of Appeals and Supreme Court review what happened at the trial to decide whether the trial was conducted fairly and whether the jury and judge correctly followed the law.
As you can imagine, the courts are very busy.
It is here that disagreements are resolved, from the trial through the appeal.
We are glad you are here, learning about the courts. Knowing about the courts makes you a stronger citizen.
You may even become involved in the courts as a witness or observer, and years from now, as a juror, lawyer, or perhaps even a judge.
Until then, anytime, come see what your courts are doing.